Last time I said it was episode 9, I was wrong. Look, I'm getting back into this. Give me a break. My brain is ready for football. Episode 9. Thank you for watching, whoever will be watching my nerd content. Look, a lot of big stories this last week, just the last couple days. Not even necessarily on the field related incidents or stories or deals. I mean, we're going to talk about a few of them. We're going to talk about the Lakers thing. The Lakers getting sold for the second time in less than 2 years. The Bears moving. Are they going to be the Indiana Bears? And a little bit on that money scheme involving potentially Steve Keim. You know, who knows if he was part of the scheme or if he got schemed, if he was a victim. But we'll talk a little bit about that. But we have to start. We have to start with the Lakers getting sold. Mark Walters, he's under investigation by the FBI. You know, look, it looks like, I don't know if he's a criminal per se. He's clearly not a convicted criminal yet, but he may have been, you know, conflict of interest, business stuff going on, not reporting certain details on certain deals, this and that. So he must have got a tip. He needs quick money, and he sold it to former Disney CEO Bob Iger, and what is it, President Trump's son-in-law's brother. So there's so many angles you can take with this story. There's so many angles, I think. There's the angle of who's the day of the regular billionaire buying NFL, NBA, MLB teams. That's basically over. I just said a couple months ago was it like less than 2 months ago when the Seahawks got sold for what was it, 9.5 billion, that we're gonna get an NFL team soon that's gonna get bought for 15 billion, and we're almost there. We just had an NBA team now, the Lakers, go for 12 billion after they were sold, or 12.5 billion if they were after they were sold to Mark Walters people for 10 just a year plus ago. So the day of the regular billionaire buying sports teams is over. And that kind of sucks if you're just a regular sports fan who's, not the casual fan, but if you're someone like me who's like pretty invested in this stuff, entertainment wise, and just everything around it. Because there's going to be limited regular guy billionaires, if that's a thing, that are going to be able to purchase these teams. It's going to be corporate ownerships. It's going to be private equity firms. Like, the only one that I think that comes to mind that's going to buy an NFL team in the near future is Jeff Bezos, because he's one of the richest men in the world. At this point, I expect him, Elon, I expect all those super ultra rich guys to invest in NFL teams, because I think it was Coward I heard say yesterday, like, essentially fuck real estate. Like, where the money is, where it's going to be, is pro sports teams. They're here forever. They're here forever. They're not going anywhere. They've been here for 100 years. They're going to be here for 100 years more. So that's where the money is. Clearly, Mark Walters just traded, just bought. Wow. Let me restart. Mark Walters just bought and sold the Lakers and got a 25% increase. I mean, he gets 2.5 billion. It's just, obviously I'm not going to speculate into Walter's business. Who knows what's going on with that? Where this takes me back is a couple things. Like I just said, the regular billionaire of buying teams, that's kind of over with. But this feels like it's going to trail back to the Luka trade. Maybe not right now. I don't think there are real hard concrete, connections other than the ones we know with Nico and Rich Paul and Rob Pelinka and LeBron and even Nike. But similarly to the Luka trade, both these deals get done essentially closed off to the rest of the public or the other teams. It was leaked that a couple NBA teams also thought about, like Minnesota or whatever, reached out about Luka. Was it Minnesota? Excuse me, Milwaukee. I forget who it was. But, is that just regular business? Or is there some shady stuff going on? There's not enough concrete evidence right now to say that there's shady stuff going on, but, it's the world of business. I'm sure something went down because I keep getting stuck on Patrick Dumont not taking any of the blame of the public criticism essentially, and it was all on Nico Harrison. Sure, was he the GM of the Mavericks before he got fired? Yes. I just don't. But everything fell on him. They built a really good team. They got to the finals 2 years ago, and now fast forward. Yes, he made a mistake with the Luka trade, all that. But where's Patrick Dumont in this? Just he's absolved from all of it. Like, oh, I just let Nico run wild and do what he wanted. I just don't believe it. Now, what they said was that they didn't trust Luka and his injury history, his rehab, his working out, all that stuff. They didn't trust his body essentially. And just over a year and a half later, they don't look like fools as much as they did when the trade went down. Because the Lakers haven't been super successful since the Luka trade. Obviously, losing LeBron, kind of revamping this roster over the last month. That's going to be interesting to see. But it's going to be interesting to see what the future. I think we're going to know within the next 18 months if there was. I think it's going to take 2 to 3 years to really know if this. Probably more on the 3-year mark of this trade. Once we get to end of this season, maybe 2 seasons from now, I think we're going to figure out who really won this trade. Because if the Lakers don't win a championship in the next 2 years, they will not have won this trade. Even though they didn't have to give up, they didn't have to give up their entire team to get Luka. They gave up Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis got flipped from Dallas to Washington, and they got a couple, Chris Middleton, a couple players. That didn't matter. What matters is those 2 first-round picks. Now, is that enough? No, not for Luka and where he is in the NBA hierarchy. What, top 5 at worst, top 8 player in the NBA. But that 2030 Golden State pick, that's the one where I'm like, Now with this Steph Curry bubbling of, is he going to be in Golden State much longer? That's the interesting pick that they have. I don't know what, I'm not scouting the high schoolers right now for the NBA, but that's the one pick where I'm like, did Dallas actually hit on that pick? But again, they should have gotten more. Something went on there. They didn't get enough. Whether it was the Nike connection or Nico or Rob or Rich Paul, it seems like it was a combination of all that. Who's going to win this deal? Who's not? I'm thinking basketball wise. I'm not going to speculate on the Mark Walters stuff. But I did see something. I didn't actually know this until before doing this video. Shohei Ohtani has a clause in his deal that if Mark Walters or Andrew Friedman sell the Dodgers team, that he can opt out. Let me say that to you again. According to the Athletics' Fabian Ardaya, Ohtani's contract includes a key man clause that ties him to Walter and Friedman. That means if either of them were to leave the organization, Ohtani would be able to opt out of his contract and become a free agent. Now, not to say that I think Mark Walters is going to sell this team too. But who knows what's down the line in the next 6 months? We have, what if Mark needs more money? What if he decides, wow, maybe I do have to sell my portion of the Dodgers? We got this lockout at the end of the year, looming for baseball. I mean, what a 2027 twist that would be if if Walters or Friedman won out and all of a sudden Ohtani's a free agent after this year. Especially if they win their 3rd straight championship or not. I think that's the biggest story in sports. If Mark Walters is to sell his share in the Dodgers, Ohtani may become a free agent. Just think about that for a second. I don't think that's likely. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that's over 50%. I don't think it's over 20% right now. But anything can happen. We saw Luka Doncic get traded out of nowhere. You just got to think about it. So yeah, that's that. We'll have to see what the future of the Lakers and Dallas are. I spent a little too much time on that. But nonetheless, we move on to the Bears. They're moving to Indiana. That's what's going to happen eventually by 2033. Uh, Looks like they're not going to be taking the Indiana name change. I hope they don't. I hope they don't. But for everyone freaking out and saying, "Oh my gosh, we can't have the Bears moving out of state. We can't have that. That doesn't happen." No, it doesn't really happen while they're in that city. But I mean, there's plenty of pro sports teams. There's plenty of pro sports teams that don't play in the city or the state that they're named after. I mean, just in the NFL alone, the Dallas Cowboys play in Arlington. The Niners play in Santa Clara, not San Francisco. The Bills don't play in Buffalo. The Rams don't play in Los Angeles. Neither did the Chargers. The Raiders don't play right in Las Vegas. And obviously, the Giants and Jets don't play in New Jersey. We know this. So it's not like this is uncommon. But I get it. The deep-rooted history of the Bears. They don't want to have to move. It's going to be roughly like 25, 30 miles. Not like across the country. They're not moving across multiple states. They're moving across state lines. That's going to happen in the next what decade, probably less than a decade. So it does suck for the Bears fans, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like, oh my gosh, it's unfathomable for a team to go play in a different state. No, not when they're already in that state. That's fair. But it's not like they're moving, you know, to Ohio or whatever. They're not moving multiple state lines. So it is what it is, you know. They didn't want to cough up the money for their new stadium. It happens. Steve Keim got caught up in a scandal involving a money laundering scheme. The guy fucking got killed. Like, what's his name? Mohammed Kualabi? I'm definitely saying that wrong. According to a July investigation, a man named Mohammed Kualabi ran an e-commerce scam with a company called Motion Ventures. The scam targeted professional athletes, including that I saw was Jalen Carter of the Eagles. I don't know if that says that in this article. Convinced athletes to invest in fraudulent shopping sites. He originally denied the claims. In an interview with the New York Post, was found dead in his pool earlier this month. Man, talk about two of the craziest business-related things in sports we've seen in years, happening within, being reported within a week apart of each other, or within the same week. Hopefully Steve Keim's not like fully, in on the scam. Hopefully he just got scammed at that point. But man, with no sports, it's like everything happens. Teams get flipped like a house. Money laundering schemes coming out into the open. It's a wild world. It's a wild world where there's a lot of money, a lot of big business. Gotta be careful in that. You get to a certain point, it seems like you gotta be careful. That's all I can say. But just let's do some other stories. Oh yeah, so NFL next week. I'm doing my quarterback pillars, my Piscopio pillars. We're getting back into that next week. Quarterback pillars. The following week we're doing NFL team pillars. I'm ranking the teams, and then the next week will be my playoff predictions. I believe something along those lines. But next week we're getting quarterback pillars, so stay tuned to that. Who's the top guy? Who's the middle of the pack? Who are the worst? You guys kind of know. But yeah, some other stuff. Russell Westbrook retired. Crazy. 18-year career. One of the most decorated athletic basketball players, athletes of all time. One of the most explosive players in all of sports. It was fun to watch him. Look, he had his downfalls. He didn't adjust to the game as he got older, but he still ended up being a contributing player to playoff teams. Obviously, never won a championship. Won the MVP when KD left. Triple double for a season. First one to do it since Oscar. But wild career. Gotta respect it. He had like I said, one of the most athletic people, honestly, in the world, especially playing sports. We look at LeBron and his longevity, but the explosiveness at his size, nobody did it like Russ. Nobody did it. And I always think my favorite moment of his career, it's honestly, it's an edit, but it's so funny. Back in the bubble when the Rockets were playing the Lakers, I think he had a big three like later in the game, like 7 minutes ago in the game, putting him up like 15 points. He just started screaming at the fans, and by screaming at the fans, I mean the no fans that were in the Disneyland bubble or Disney World bubble. And people edited it and put like moms and babies and like essentially saying like the NBA players families, and it was a pretty funny edit. He's like screaming all aggressively, just yelling whatever he wants, and then they just cut to like a mom like, well, we're just watching the game. Obviously that part wasn't real, but that just shows like Russ's mentality. Like he was there to dominate. 100% of the game, going 100% at all times. You never know what time of the game it is. You never know what game of the season it is. You never know what time, what day. You never know because anytime you watched Russell Westbrook, he was going 100%. Now, was that part of his downfall? Probably, but you have to respect it as an athlete because we always want our guys to play. We always want them to try. We hate when the All-Star games guys never try. With the exception of MLB for the most part. We hate when our super duper athletes don't try. And then when Russell Westbrook does it, we criticize him because he does it too much. So we have to give him credit where it's due. Congratulations on a great career. I mean, Russ was fun to watch. He was definitely fun to watch. Had some fun dances. Good career. Good career. Okay, last thing. A couple more things. So, I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I want to wait till the fight actually happens. Islam Makhachev, Ian Gary, UFC 330. I think I'm going Islam. I don't think Ian Gary. I don't think he has much of a chance. Look, can he give him a little bit of a fight? Sure. I think Islam's pretty dominant now. The only thing is, he's been off a year, or roughly a year now, so maybe Ian can find something in there, but I mean, Islam trains with fucking bears in Russia or whatever, in Dagestan. 2-3 years Dagestan. I don't see him losing to this guy. I think Carlos Prates is the better matchup. Now, this is just, again, not from a diehard perspective, but I can't wait to see that fight. I think we get that fight, Q1 next year, hopefully. But yeah, that's my mini take on that one. I think Islam wins. I think it's. Will it go the full 5 rounds? I'm gonna say no. Can Ian Gary maybe get it to the third round? I would say so, but if I had to put my money on it, I'm putting my money on Islam. Simple as that. Why the Sixers don't have the black jersey? Now I'm getting angry. No black jersey. It was just a 1-year, 25-year anniversary thing, and now we're going with the Cream City jerseys. Okay, they're fine. But I love how the whole meme is that everyone's getting the LeBron. It's not even a meme. Everyone's getting their LeBron jerseys, their LeBron Iverson throwback jerseys on DHgate. Not that I'm gonna do that, but Jaylen Brown, maybe. But no, that sucks. I hate that they're not. I wish they would go full-time jerseys with them. I honestly thought about this recently. I don't think I posted about it. I think the Sixers should go back. I should have looked this up before. I think the Sixers should go back to their 80s jerseys and do something like that. Let me pull this up real quick. Because I think they need a change up. I think they need a new jersey look. Where is it? I think it's the early 80s. Oh, yeah. Yep. Late 70s to early 90s. Yeah. This is the jersey I want them to go with. They already have something similar to the white one, but I want them to have Sixers. I don't really like the filla. It's not my thing. Get this red as the away jersey. Get the white as the home, or whatever. Which white should be home. The white jersey should be home, but this is the jerseys they need to have. Something like this. I was never really a fan of the blue and the white. Not that it's like a bad jersey or anything. I've never been a fan. And there's my jersey rant at the end of the episode. But, NFL coming. Oh, I almost. NFL on the way. Holy. I can't wait. Less than 4 weeks away. Just under 4 weeks, that Wednesday Super Bowl rematch. Thank you guys for watching episode 9. Episode 10, QB pillars, quarterback pillars, who's the best in the league. Check it out next week. Thanks, guys.